Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai Bashem Kakodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, "Which shall come upon all the world. How much more evidence do you need?" So this is Revelation chapter 3 verse 10. "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience," meaning you came into this truth and you did the will of the Father through the Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. You ate this roll and you went out and you gave it to the church, to the Israelites, starting with the men, mainly for the benefit of the elect. Jake that hears this word and accepts it or not accepts it, and they fall out the truth, or they hear it, they would represent the 2/3. And our job is not to go to the 2/3, but when we're out there, you're speaking among the 2/3, and the elect will be chosen out of those people, out of the 2/3, out of the whole nation that you encounter. And I said before in previous videos, and I'll continue to say it, the focus is here in America, not Africa. The focus is here in America. Ezekiel 38:37, that's what I keep talking about. That valley is America. It's not America, Africa, Japan, Russia, the islands. It's none of those places. The deliverance is going to come out of America. But before that happens, the whole planet Earth the people of the earth will be chipped. And you're going to have people that's going to protest and come against it and maybe locked up, maybe put to death, guillotined. Anyway, the third, Revelation 3 verse 10, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience," because you ate the roll and you went out and did what the roll says to do, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Now, it doesn't mean a particular hour, high, noon, whatever. It's talking about a time. There's going to be a time, like a time of Jacob's trouble. There's going to be a time where you taking that chip is going to be presented to you. And I would think that there'll be a time limit to taking it. They'll tell you eventually, you need this chip. Well, I got a credit card, I got a bank card, I got my smartphone. Well, we're not dealing with that anymore. But now you have to get, because we can't confirm your ID. That's what they're pushing out there. When you go on, I go on the web and I'll do a YouTube video and it'll kick me out, and I gotta go back and sign in again, and then they ask for your number. But now they're asking for at one time they asked for your telephone number. You didn't have to give it. That was a choice. Now you got to give them your phone number. And now they're asking you for your house address. And now it's optional. It's optional. Ask me later. I'm not interested. Whatever the case, you click on. But there's going to be a point where they're going to have your address. And being that they have your number, they can track you any damn way. So ultimately, they're going to say, well, somebody else could have your phone. Your girl could have your phone and be acting like it's you. So the only way you're going to, and there'll be some type of way where if you use the phone, you would have to use your, chip that's in your right hand on your forehead to sign in. That's your identity, unless you chop somebody's hand off, okay? Anyway, it says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience," you kept this word, you remain faithful, I also will keep thee from the time of temptation, meaning you got to take this chip. There's a deadline. You got 30 days. If you don't get this done, you're out of the system. Which shall come upon the whole world. Now the word world, for you newer people out there, the word world is different from the word world in John 3:16. The word world here, if you click on it, is the word oikomeni, which means the inhabited earth. To try them that dwell upon the earth. Now the earth is the word gay, where you get the word geopolitics. Anytime you hear the word on the news, geopolitics, it's talking about world politics. And this is America is a part of the whole world. You know, it's not a thing just for the United States. It's for the whole world. Anytime Trump says something or makes a decision, it affects the whole world. So the whole world is watching Trump, watching what goes on in America. So anyway, I titled this video, which shall come upon all the world, the whole planet, the people of the planet. And then I also said the second part of the title is, how much more evidence do you need? Now I did a video on that yesterday. So let me just go here. Try not to make this long. Oh, this is what I said I was going to do. Got to go to my man Chat in the house. Give me a second, y'all. Let me just do this. I'm sorry. Do it this way. Revelation. So what is the GMS Israelites' take on Revelation 3 verse 10? Revelation 3 verse 10 is huge in GMS teaching, especially when it comes to who gets protected and who doesn't in the end. Now they shouldn't mention the MOTB, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon the whole world to try them. I'm going to show you a video by Whitney Webb to try them that dwell upon the earth. See, the key thing is, let me see something. Which shall come upon the whole world. This is not going to be a United States thing where people in the United States have to get the chip. It's not going to be a thing in England. It's going to be a world thing. Like I said, how much more evidence do you need? Here's the GMS Israelite breakdown. Let's see if they break it down the correct way. First, who is this written to? GMS is very strict here. They teach Revelation is written to Israelites only, specifically the elect remnant. Not all Christians, not the whole world. So this promise is not universal. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. This is a qualifier. GMS says this refers to Israelites who endure, hold correct doctrine, stay faithful despite persecution, slander, and hardship. Moving on. Patience, endurance under suffering, not passive belief. You just can't know that you're an Israelite. You got to do the work. You got to put work up in here. You got to put work up in here. He that endureth to the end. The word endure means to make hard, strong, to stand your ground. This is why they stress long-term consistency. This is why we say everybody in GMS has to make videos consistently, every day. Now, if you do it 3 times a week and you go out to the camp, I mean, your thing is you got to be consistent. I might put up 3 or 4 videos in one day, and in my spirit, I didn't do enough. I got to do more. Suffering for the truth, being hated for teaching. Let's see if they get this right. I also will keep thee. This is divine protection, but not how most churches teach it. GMS does not teach pre-tribulation rapture. That's that Christian nonsense based upon Daniel 9. What Daniel 9 took place 2000. Everything in Daniel 9 took place 2,000 years ago. Everyone escaping suffering entirely. Instead, they teach protection of the elect. They got that right. Yahweh. So the chat knows that we call on Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. The chat also knows that IUIC does not call on Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. Yahweh actively preserving certain Israelites, which are the elect, while judgment unfolds around them. My servants shall eat, right? Think Israel in Goshen during the plague, not flying away. From the hour of temptation. Let's see what they say here. This is the first time I'm reading this. GMS defines this as the final period of global crisis, collapse of America, or Babylon America, martial law, famine, war, chaos. I'll be giving the clap. The MOTB, mark of the beast. And I frame that the MOTB, mark of the beast system. That's the main thing. Temptation, pressure to compromise, not just suffering, which shall come upon all the world. GMS ties this to global reach of America's system. Economic collapse affecting every nation. When America catches a cold, the rest of the world catches the flu. NATO, world powers drag into judgment. But again, not everyone is spared. To try them to dwell upon the earth, this is a dividing line. GMS teaches earth dwellers, people invested in the system, lovers of Babylon, which is America, those who trust government, money, military, comfort. Like the scriptures say in Nahum and in Jeremiah, I believe it's Jeremiah 50, and not too many words. It says, they shall become like women. The men are going to, you got certain nations that they grow up in war. They grow up in goddamn war. So they used to war. They used to saying to themselves, I could die, but that's all right. The Arab nations, the Russian military, they hardcore, man. Them Arab nations, they hardcore. They know they can die. They got that spirit of war in them. The American men don't really have the spirit of war in them because they're not constantly fighting wars. So when the draft comes, you got these weak-minded guys with problems. They all in love with their girl and their mama's boys, whatever. They're weak. They're like women. So when they send them the northern army down into in the middle of the Red Sea and the Euphrates, they're gonna bitch up. They're gonna bitch up over, and they're gonna stay over there. I said the trial exposes who belongs to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, or belongs to the beast system. Big picture, GMS view. Revelation 3 verse 10 equals a promise of protection for the elect Israelites who endure in the truth. You guys that fell off? Oh, guess one thing that you fell off. But guess what? Oh, I disagree with Tahar saying this, and I disagree with Gabar said something. Gabar looked at me the wrong way, or Rakar looked at me the wrong way, or whatever. One of them bishops just don't like me. And you left or whatever, or you said, well, I don't believe in the scripture, you guys got it wrong, the spirit came to me in a dream, and then we say, okay, you're out of there. Now you got X amount of time before you get it right. And then what happens? They set up their own thing. They're good for a couple months, maybe a year. Then they're gone. They go right back in the world. And everybody that fell out the truth, everybody that turned their back on the plow, guess what? You get a surprise. It's like a box of Cracker Jacks. A box of Cracker Jacks, you get a surprise inside. Well, guess what? Y'all that turn your back on the plow, you're gonna get a surprise. That surprise is the mark of the beast. And you IUIC and IUCBK and Wi-Fi and whoever else that bucked up against what we were saying, scoffed, because they are scoffers. They scoff. You're gonna get a surprise too. You're gonna realize when it's time for you to go down there to the doctor to stick it in you. Inside joke. When I stick it in you, I had to say that. It says a promise of protection for the elect. We call ourselves the hopeful elect. We hope that we continue endure to the end. Is even in the face of death, Israelites who endure in the truth, while the world, especially Babylon, enters its final trial. It says no rapture theory. Exactly. Well, rapture just means to be taken up, to be captured up. What's her name? Anita Baker. She sung a song great song, Caught Up in the Rapture of Love. Being caught up in love. So we are going to be raptured, of course, if you want to use that word, which is not found in the Bible. When we get and that's not going to be the 7-year tribulation. We're going to be raptured, and the rest are going to be no. And then the Lord's going to come back again. No, when He comes back, He coming back the second time to destroy this place, and to beam up and deliver. That's what the word salvation means. When New Testament speaks about the Lord coming with salvation, the word means to be us delivered from impending danger. It says no rapture theology, no blanket safety, selective preservation. Judgment still happens. And the ultimate judgment is when this place is destroyed by fire. All 5,000 square miles. How GMS connects this to other verses, they often pair it with Isaiah 26:20, hide thyself for a moment. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Until the ignorant nation be overpassed. You really got to start from the 19th verse. I may even go into that. Beautiful. Another hand clap for chat. Psalms 91. That whole chapter is dedicated to how when the ships come, when you see the ships, when the ships come, deliver us up, and the missiles come right after that, lasers hitting this place, and we're going to look down and see the reward of the wicked. Now my wife, she had a dream, and the whole dream was Psalms 91. So she explained it. I said, you just had a dream about Psalms 91. It says, Psalms 91, 1,000 fall at thy side, meaning you're going to be looking at one side, you're going to see a bunch of people getting put to death, missiles hitting them, fire, them getting caught on fire. Then you're going to be looking on the other side, you're going to see, but you're going to be in a ship looking down at this destruction and praising Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And I guarantee you, if Bishop Nate's making the ship, he's not going to be saying no Most High and Christ bless. He damn sure ain't going to be saying no Most High and Christ bless. Guaranteed. Revelation 12:17, war with the remnant. Matthew 24, beautiful. Endurance until the end. Like I said, you dudes that turn your back on the plow, you went back into the world, you're going to take that chip and you're slated for destruction by fire. If you make it that far, hopefully you will starve to death. If you want, I can compare this with mainstream Christian rapture doctrine, show how GMS links this to the MOTB. I should look at that one, or explain who they believe does not get this protection. Just ask. Let me, you know what I'm gonna do? Show how GMS links this to the MOTB. And thank you, chat, for referring to the mark of the beast as the MOTB. You've been watching. Just go to that. All right, here's how GMS directly connects Revelation 3:10 to the MOTB step by step, the way they actually teach it on the street and in sit-down lessons. Yeah, we do call them sit-downs. We're going to do a sit-down. This is one of the strongest anti-rapture, anti-Christian comfort arguments, The hour of temptation equals the MOTB system. Thank you. That's what it means. The time of temptation is whether you're going to take that chip or not. And I ain't planning on taking it. And they can't, 5 guys, strong guys, hold you down and put, no. You got to consciously agree to take it. It said the hour of temptation equals the MOTB system. GMS is very clear on this point. The hour of temptation is the mark of the beast rollout. Beautiful. Another hand clap. not just suffering in general, a specific test. The ultimate test is whether you're going to take that chip or not. Let me do something here. The hour of temptation, the MOTB system. The hour of temptation is the mark of the beast rollout. Not just suffering in general, a specific test. A specific test. A specific test. They define the MOTB as a global economic control system, because it is going to be global. And I'm going to show you that with this video with Whitney Webb. Where you must comply to buy and sell. Are you listening, Bishop Nathaniel? Next week, hey, if you was right with the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, next week you would say I was wrong. Revelation 13 and 16 is the MOTB. And guess what? You can save a whole lot of people. You can save your zombies. You can finally, the zombie curse will finally be off of your zombies. And they'll be regular people. Because they're going to agree with you. I say it, they don't agree. You say it, they'll agree. They'll not take it. Cursed be the man that trusts in man. But I hope you tell the truth. Now, in the case of General Yohana, I don't think you're going to tell the truth. So that's the ultimate test. Whether you guys are going to tell the truth when it comes or not. I got to know one thing. You IUIC members, mostly out of the men, I know one thing, when that comes, the first thing going to pop in your head is this an MOTB, and maybe GMS, maybe we shouldn't talk shit about GMS. That's the time of reckoning, bro. It said pressuring people and forced through, where you must comply to buy and sell. Enforced through technology, government power, plus government power, pressuring people, not sticking it in them. It's pressuring people, convincing people. The word there in Revelation is deceive the whole world, pressuring people to choose comfort, survival over obedience to the Most High. We rather obey the Most High rather than men, right? The Heavenly Father raised up the Messiah to be a prince and a savior to give repentance to the Israelites and the forgiveness of sin. The only nation that was guilty of sin, charged with sin, was the ones that got the first covenant, the laws, Israelites. Temptation equals take the mark and live. Refuse it and suffer. You can't buy or sell. You can't hop on a plane. You can't, your car, you got to register your car. You don't do it, you got that time limit, the registration, they're going to drop your registration. Can't get insurance for a car. You want to eat, you got to go to the supermarket. You can't buy or sell. So you're just going to have to go out in the woods somewhere and maybe find a cardboard box. It says that's the test. Why it's called a temptation, not just persecution. This is important. In GMS logic, they say persecution alone isn't temptation. Temptation involves a choice. The MOTB tempts people with food, buy or sell, jobs, buy or sell. You work at a job to get money so you can buy, so you can basically buy. Housing, you will be homeless for a time. That's why I said when they make this thing mandatory and everybody's got to take it and you got a deadline, everything's going to move quick. Then you can look up into the heavens and look for the Most High, because that's the last prophecy before the other prophecies can come into pass: the destruction, the deliverance, and the kingdom. Those three things cannot happen unless the whole planet Earth is presented with this microchip. So these, like I said, you window shoppers, you better get with the program. You want to go down? You want to go down with the ship? You want to go down with Nate's ship? You want to go down with General Yohana's ship? You want to go down with Wi-Fi ship, Bow's ship? Y'all better wake the fuck up. And then you're gonna realize GMS was right. That the true prophets are the men of GMS and the others out there. It says the MOTB tempts people with food, jobs, housing, medical access, because as soon as you go to an emergency room, what is the first thing they'll ask for you? They want your name, your full name, and they want ID. If you give them the driver's license, that's all I need, a driver's license. They'll get your information, social security number. Why? Because if you don't have the money to pay for it, Medicaid will pick it up. Social stability. See if there's any more. I didn't know I was going to get this much information. So Revelation 3 verse 10 isn't saying, I'll keep you from the trouble. And the majority of Christians out there are clueless. None of them teach it. The black church, forget about it. They don't teach shit. But even among these so-called white people, white church, so-called white churches, some of them, like the Born Again, is the little small churches, they'll teach it. But for the most part, when the mark of the beast is presented to the masses of the people and you're an average Christian, you're going to take it because you don't know the scriptures. And your pastor doesn't know the scriptures. It's saying, I'll keep you from folding under pressure. Right, because you kept the faith, so the Most High is going to strengthen your faith. I will keep thee from rapture. GMS absolutely rejects the idea that this means flying away. I just read that, right? They teach the elect shall still be on earth, still see clouds, which are UFOs, still experience hardship, but they'll be spiritually guarded, not deceived into taking the mark. We also call it the mark, preserved enough to endure. Their favorite parallel, Israel and Egypt during the plagues, still in the land. That's Isaiah 19 and 18 and 19. Still under Pharaoh. The new Pharaoh is Nero, but distinguished and protected. So we're looking to be protected because we did what the Most High told us to do. So he made a promise to us. Wow, there's a lot. How keeping actual works, GMS style, according to GMS protection, shows up as spiritual protection, understanding what the mark MOTB is. And these other camps that I mentioned, they don't understand it. They don't know how to break it down, so they make it up. They wing it. The Captain Zariak, when the Issacharite called and then the Benjaminite called back to back with the same question, he winged it. He wanged it. Not being deceived by it's for your safety, not trusting the system. This is huge to them. If you know what it is, you're already being kept. Because some people are going to take it not knowing what it is. How many people do you know go into the book of Revelation? Like Yeshua used to say, that he would imitate pastors. Yeah, I don't go into the book of the Revelation because that's a fearful book. Yeah, because you don't understand it. Physical provisions, limited, not luxury. Look, I'm used to not living in luxury. I believe in luxuries, as I joke. Yahweh will provide just enough, not abundance. We don't need abundance. Necessity, right? Enough to survive without compromising. That goes back to Isaiah 65. Start from the 9th verse and read down to the 12th, 13, 14 verse. It says we're going to be laughing, we're going to be eating. It says they'll cite Elijah fed during famine. Manna in the wilderness. Psalms 37:25. I got to read that. Psalms 37:25. Selective survival. Not every Israelite is protected. Only the elect, those who kept the word of my pay. You notice Chad is not saying the laws, it's saying the word, the whole word. Those walking in obedience, not just claiming identity. Just because you say you're an Israelite don't mean you're going to make it. You got to do this work. Many Israelites, they say, will take the mark. Well, it remains to be seen. Because they might get a wake-up call. They might finally say, you know what? The mark of the beast is the microchip. Which shall come upon all the world. This is where the MOTB fits perfectly for GMS. They argue only a global economic system fits this. War or famine alone wouldn't. MOTB affects rich nations, poor nations, allies, and enemies. Well, the people. They often say if you want to eat, you're dealing with the beast. That's worldwide temptation. Them that dwell upon the earth versus the elect. GMS makes a sharp distinction. Earth dwellers, fully invested in the system. That's the worshiping of the beast. Trust, money, government, tech will justify taking the mark. Well, you got to eat and your kids got to eat. And that's what General Yohanna supposedly said to Deacon Akar many, many years ago, over 10 years ago. See Babylon as temporary, already mentally detached, right? You got to be mentally detached. You guys going to have a hard time with your women. Will suffer rather than comply. Will suffer rather than comply, even to the point of death. Guillotines. Revelation 3 verse 10 is a promise to the second group only. Promise to the second group only. The big picture, GMS framework, Revelation 3 verse 10 plus MOTB equals the elect Israelites are preserved through discernment and divine intervention during a forced global compliance system, while the rest of the world submits to survive. That's the worship part. That's the worship part. It doesn't mean they're going to bring out a statue or a picture, like Nate said, oh, that's a picture of Caesar Borgia. No. Revelation 13, 16, 17, 18 has absolutely nothing to do with Caesar Borgia. Has absolutely nothing to do with Caesar. And the image spoke. That's Max von Sydow in the movie The Greatest Story. No. You can't be that fucking stupid. You have to have sold out. So the elect Israelites are preserved through discernment and divine intervention during a forced global compliance system, while the rest of the world submits to survive. They want to survive. No escape hatch, no mass protection, no Christianity. Grace covers it. Just endure. If you want next, I can break down what the IUIC says the MOTB actually is, tech and ideology. That's a good one. Show why they say Christianity prepares people to fail this test. And those are the camps that I keep mentioning. or connect this to Revelation 14 and Revelation 20. Right, Revelation 20 and 4. If you don't accept this mark, you're gonna get your head. You can get your head chopped off. So anyway, let's go over here. I don't want to be long on this, but the chat gave me a lot of information. The chat knows more than these other groups. That's a video right there. Okay, so this is Whitney Webb. Whitney Webb. Okay, let me just do this. I don't need to slow this down. I'm gonna slow it down anyway. I just want to do this. This is fair use, fair use, fair use. So listen up. Listen up, listen up. Oh, closed caption, let me see. Okay, system, and then the solution was offered by the other hand. The man that claims to have created the CBDC, Central Bank of Digital Currency, is a man from Barbados. So this is how the Most High works. The Most High works with different people to come up with different things to come to it all culminates into the chip. So he came up with the so-called, according to him, he came with the concept of CBDC, Cashless Society. Named Oliver Gill, you can look him up. He created one of the first, well, arguably the first CBDC projects in the Caribbean. And most of the Caribbeans are going to take it because they don't know the scriptures. And then went on to have a key role in creating now that's the Caribbean. He went from the Caribbean, jumped all the way to Nigeria, creating the Nigerian CBDC, the IRI, the INARI, right? Which is the electronic Nigerian dollar. Remember, if you go back, I don't know, 2 years, maybe 2 years, maybe 3, that you can only get so much money out of the bank per day, and people were going, that it kept them from the banks being ran upon, meaning you got what's called a bank run. Look up the word bank run, or run of the bank. Give me a second here. Let me look this up. When there's a financial panic, if people got $100,000 in the bank, they run to get it out. The only money that you should have in the bank is money to pay your bills, transact. Shouldn't be having money as a store of value in the bank system, because if things crash, they're taking your money. They're doing a thing called bailouts, bail-ins. I'll look that up too. Okay, what I was going to say, okay, bail-ins. No, bank runs. They don't look up bail-ins. What is a bank run? Remember that happened in Harlem. That bank, the biggest bank in Harlem, was the Freedom National Bank. That thing went bust, and you had lines of Negroes getting their money out. And a lot of Negroes in Harlem got money. Okay, bank run is a crisis during when a large number of customers simultaneously withdraw their deposits. Now, they can't do it because they're not covered. The banks are not covered. They don't have that money. That's why they closed it. It's called a bank holiday. We're going to look into that too. See, when you get into these scriptures, you got to know these other things. That's why these guys, they can't see the mark of the beast of microchip, because they don't understand the money system. They don't understand how money works. They don't know what fiat currency is. None of them. Like I said, these guys wing it. If they don't know anything in the scriptures, they will wing it. And so and they're going to look like fools ISUPK, IUIC, Wi-Fi, and whoever else, BOW, whoever else, every last one of you that said the GMS is going off, that the market, the MOTB is whatever it is, keep that same energy. Lie to your people. Lie to your zombies, your armies of zombies. Lie to them. And if they're not of the elect, they're going to take it. And they're going to be condemned, and you're going to be condemned. Real talk. Real talk. And Captain Zariak, you talk to the Mexican guy and the Benjamin guy, and you trying to make the Mexican guy, you say, are you on drugs? You on drugs? And you said, the hand, what is the hand? You being a fucking demon, bro. And if you don't come up out of that, you're going to be destroyed here in America. The same thing goes with General Yohana, General Muhammad, the rest of y'all. Y'all going to look like fucking jackasses when that time comes. And let me say this. Bishop Nathaniel knows that the mark of the beast is a chip. He knows that the mark of the beast is a chip. Let me know in the chat. Let me know among the apostles and the bishops, the elders. You can look into his eyes. He knows that the mark of the beast is the microchip. Now, either he's sold out or he doesn't want to look like a jackass and reverse himself. So let me read this again. But like I said, they don't understand this. They don't understand the concept of a CBDC. They don't understand the concept of SDRs. They don't understand the concept of the World Bank, the IMF. They don't understand none of that. The Bank of International Settlements, which they're above the law. The president or any leader of the Bank of International Settlements, they can kill people, put it on video, and they won't get locked up. The Epstein files proved that. All that stuff came out. It got all their names in it, and now it's coming out that they were killing little kids, man. And none of them is going to jail. None of them. But you know, you can thank the United States schools, the federal school system, because they did a good job in dumbing you down. The people, the mass majority of the people in America are fucking stupid. You crackers, you Edomites are just now waking up. Oh, everything going up. Now you begin to understand money. See, I watch the financial channels. I listen to Bloomberg all fucking day in the car. I watch CNBC. And there's shit that they don't even understand what the fuck is going on. Anyway, it says a bank run or run on the bank is a crisis occurring when a large number of customers simultaneously withdraw their deposits due to fear that the bank is, give me a second, that the bank is, I'm sorry, let me do this again. That the bank is or is about to become insolvent, meaning go belly up. No more money. Now they get an idea of it, and then what do? They line up to get the money out. And guess what happens? They run out of money. You have a thing called fractional reserve banking. Now at one time, whatever money that you borrowed from the Fed, Federal Reserve System, the Federal Reserve System is a national bank of the U.S. and it's a bank. It's called a bank of issue. They issue out monies to other banks at a interest rate, and it's a low interest rate. It might be 1%, 2%. And what you do when you get a credit card or a loan, they'll give you a credit card and they might charge you 29%. So they're making all kind of money. But when nobody buys, because people are not buying and selling no more, people are running out of money. So it's a chain reaction. It's affecting these banks. A lot of these smaller banks and went out of business. That's why you see, I remember Wells Fargo, it used to be Wachovia. Guess what? That was getting ready to fall, and Wells Fargo came in. That's why you have these mergings of these companies. A merging of a company is when a company's getting ready to go down, and a stronger company buys it at pennies on the dollar and builds it back up. So the banks are in the business for one thing and one thing only, for money, to make money, to make money, and to invest money. It says, let me see, simultaneously withdraw their deposits due to fear, and the bank is about to become insolvent, go belly up, because banks only hold a fraction. I'm surprised they gave it to me. That's fractional reserve banking, which if they say we got $1 billion, that means they only got $100 billion. And that's 10%. They're required to hold 10%. I think it's less than that now. Because if they give you a credit card or a bank loan, you know where the money comes from? Out of thin air. And how they make their money? Interest. So they want you to pay your bills late. They want you to, make your payments late so they can penalize you. They don't like a good customer. They don't like you if you use your credit card and you pay it inside of 20 and 30 days. There's no interest charge on it. So they hate people like you. They like people to max out their cars, and the first thing they're going to take out is the interest rate if it's 29%. Like I said, these other camps don't. They just wing it. They just come out there and they get this precept and hit that precept and go to this and this is going to happen. And the mark of the beast, that's sin in all of its forms. Or that's the sleeping white one. They're winging it. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And when we look at them, we laugh at them. We laugh at the IUIC. We laugh at the ISUBK. We laugh at Wi-Fi. We laugh at BOW. We laugh at all of them. Sakari, I can't even speak on because the Sakari is now no more. It went belly up. There's a lot of splinter groups. And then one major splinter group, which is Genesis, they took the bag. They said heaven can wait. It said because banks only hold a fraction of deposits, which is the word, look the word up, fractional reserve banking, in cash. Investing the rest in loans. When a house is foreclosed on, who foreclosed on the house? The bank. Because the mortgage that you got to pay, you're paying it to the bank. So the bank owns the house. So now the bank can turn around and sell the house to somebody else. So it's at the end of the day, banks is about how much money we're going to bring in. Investing the rest in loans, a rapid mass withdrawal can exhaust their available liquidity, which used to be 10%, potentially leading to actual bank failure. So they had what's called a bank holiday. Let's look up the word bank holiday. What is a bank holiday? A bank holiday is a designated weekday when financial institutions such as banks and stock exchanges are closed for business. Now they can have an emergency bank holiday when they know people are going to hit the banks. Oh, the bank is closed. Bank holiday, usually coinciding with federal or public holidays, while branches close. ATMs and online banking typically remain functional. Now, when you go to your ATMs and you get the money, you know there's a limit on your money. You can have $10,000 in your system. You bring a card out, you can only get, in my bank, you can only get $1,000. You can only withdraw $1,000 a day. So if I wanted $5,000, I would have to go and talk to a bank teller, or not teller, but the woman at the desk, and then they'll affirm it. They'll say, okay, you can get the 5,000, or I can, for the next 5 days, I can take 1,000 each day. Where am I going to go? I was going to go into something else. But Esau, he's got that system, man. He's got that system. Ultimately, when they chip everybody, we don't know how it's going to go, but robots are taking over. Everything is AI now. The technology is advancing day by day. And there's going to be a point where robots are going to be doing everything. And so you can either do one or two things. You can kill start mass murdering people, and which is called you have a term. Who said this? Henry Kissinger. He used the term useless eaters. I think it was used before that, but I believe he made it popular. Useless eaters are people that just live and they don't contribute anything to the society, so you get rid of them. You know? Through famine or whatever. And that happened in societies in China. The Great Leap Forward, they got rid of I think it was 70 million people. Stalin got rid of I think it was something like 60 million Ukrainians. Starved them to death. You know? So you can either kill mass people, or you can give them a BA. Basic. What the hell is it? Damn, I can't think of it. Basic income. There's some word. There's another word. Universal basic income. What is universal basic income? UBIs, right? Universal basic income, UBI, is a government program providing regular, unconditional cash payments to every individual regardless of income or employment status. So you can be, you can not work. I'm not going to work. And then the government, that's called a welfare state. Another way of saying welfare state. But they're going to kill a lot of people off. It aims to reduce poverty, enhance financial stability, because what happens, if people don't have money and they don't buy nothing, then businesses go out of business, right? Go belly up. So they got to stimulate the What was this guy talking about? Trump a couple of months ago, I'm going to give all Americans $2,000. When you go back to the C. Ragamuffin, they were giving out checks. I never got one. I never wanted one. Because people wasn't buying, and they wasn't buying. So you got to put those, you got to put, the food stamp things. You know they couldn't have that going on forever, because food markets will go out of business. Another thing, you can't buy potato chips and snacks and all that. Do you know how much that's going to hurt these companies that make these snacks? So they're going to bring it back. They're going to bring it back. Trust me. There's 45 million, supposedly 45 million people on food stamps. That represents almost 12% of the population. So that means these companies that make these snacks, sugary snacks, potato chips and all that, that's going to hurt them. So they're going to make a call. They say, you got to do something about this. And the reason why they give you food stamp is to keep the economy going, keep these businesses up. So you don't understand, this is a whole chain reaction thing. That's why the law is a year of release once every 7 years, and a year of jubilee once every 50 years. Because things are out of hand now. So that's why you got wars. So anyway, every individual, regardless of income or employment status, it aims to reduce poverty, enhance financial stability so people can buy. Somebody, if you hit the lotto for $10 million, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to the car dealership. Then you're going to buy new furniture. You might have enough to buy it. You can live in an apartment. You're going to get a nice house. You're going to go to the bank. The bank going to know you just came into $10 million. And you and Jake, they're going to treat you like royalty. And then you're going to have friends that you haven't heard of in years. All of a sudden, they're going to find your number. You're going to have relatives. Oh, IOU is my favorite. So when you get money like that, it stimulates the economy. stability and provides a safety net against job displacement, right, which is AI, from automation, AI. So if AI takes over and does 90% of everything in this country, guess what? They got to give everybody a fucking check, which becomes a welfare state. Payments are regular, universal, individual, and unconditional. Meaning, if you got a job and you get a check, good. That's more money for you. If you ain't got a job, you want to be lazy, you're gonna get a check. You good. Let me see something. I got another word I want to put up there. Oh. Welfare state definition. A welfare state is a government system that assumes primary responsibility for the social and economic well-being of its citizens. In other words, there's no job, the government gonna give you checks. Don't worry about it. You'll be able to eat. But ultimately, under the condition that you got to get the chip. Providing a safety net through initiatives like universal health care. When you get universal health care, Medicaid and all that, Medicare, that's welfare. That's fucking welfare. Education, social education is free education, right? That's welfare. Social insurance is welfare. Pensions is welfare. You work X amount of 30 years, you get a pension until you die. That's welfare. And unemployment benefits, that's welfare. Food stamps is welfare, right? Founded largely through progressive taxation. Who do you tax? You're supposed to tax, the middle class to the super rich. And the super rich finds ways to get around it. These systems aim for equitable health distribution and often a cradle to grave support structure. Because you got Jake women that live off this. And why not? The super rich live off the system, man. I believe the NFL and the NFC, I don't even think they pay taxes. They got loopholes. And I believe if they don't still get it, they used to get grants from the government to keep, because there was a time where you wasn't rich playing for the NFL or the AFC. These guys had to work during summer, out of season. Now you got these dudes, these multi-million-dollar contracts. So this is Rome all over again. I'm sorry. So now let me come back into this. So this guy, he came up with the idea in the Bahamas for the CBDC system, right? Central bank digital currency, which is electron. In other words, you need a card or an app on your phone, and ultimately a chip in your hand. See, we make it make sense because we're telling you what's leading to the mark. Everything is leading to the mark in the chip, which the chip is what? It's part of a welfare state. It's part of UBI. And people that are poor, they're going to be lining up to get the chip so they can continue to get their UBI, their food stamps, their EBT. So Inari, who was behind the Inari? The electronic Nigerian dollar. And they panicked the people by saying, I believe it was, you can only get $45 a day from the bank. So you had people going to the bank every day getting $45. They might have had $100,000 in the bank. So creating the Nigerian CBDC, was the Inari, the electronic Nigerian dollar. So the way the CBDC in Nigeria was set up is that in order to actually, CBDC, that's the app, Central Bank of Nigeria, Inari Speed Wallet Individual, right? Eventually it's going to go into this is going to be obsolete. You're going to use phones to make calls, But in order to buy and sell to get money from the bank, you're going to need the chip. You're going to need the chip. You're going to need the chip, which is the mark of the beast. GMS was always right. So keep that same energy when it's time for you to sit down and have the doctor put that shit in you. National identification number, which is the Nigerian digital ID, protect. So you have to have a digital ID in order to be able to access the Nigerian CBDC. So people are going to say, well, we got no choice. We got to do it. But then when they give you the chip, when they go to give you the chip, people are going to say, no, I ain't with this. But people's backs are going to be against the wall, and they don't want to starve. You don't want to get evicted out of your house. And the way they tried to get people to onboard the CBD system was by essentially cutting off the vast majority of just let it'll come back. Okay, where we at? And that suggested an idea on, let me bring it back. Okay, let's start it from here. And so despite the fact that they created these conditions to cause people into using the CBDC, the populace resisted, and that's going to happen everywhere when the system is in the play. They're going to resist it, but they're going to have no choice but to take it. And that suggests that the idea of CBDC being a tool for financial inclusion, the public doesn't seem to believe that, right? In Nigeria, so Nigeria is nothing but a test country. The Bahamas was nothing but a test country. China is nothing but a model country. These people that ostensibly have suffered from their identity gap, that suffer from financial exclusion, don't want the financial inclusion that they're being offered by the CBDC. They don't see any real benefit. They see it as a tool of the state, the government. Total control, total control, total control. The microchip is for total control and surveillance. If you're an auto mechanic, you do side jobs in your house, the next door neighbor, you fix their brakes, charge him $250 or whatever, he can't give you paper dollars. You have to take a scanner out and scan that money in your account, so the government knows, oh, this guy made $250 doing a brake job, so we're going to tax him. And the state of Nigeria, and in other African countries where these sort of systems are being rolled out, because they're model governments, test governments. The governments have abused, and this goes into Revelation 17 when it says they committed fornication with the woman, meaning they in bed with him. They got a memo. Okay, you got to do this. You got to play it off like you figured this shit out. No, they were given a memo. They were given a script. Have abused these systems to go after journalists or other people and violate human rights and all sorts of things. So it's not a tool for increased human rights. It's a tool for increased inclusion. It's inherently exclusionary, and it's a surveillance. Didn't I say that? It ultimately is a surveillance tool. They're gonna know. They're gonna know what you went to the BJ's at 3:25. You picked this item up. You picked that item up. You cashed out at 4 o'clock. You in your car. You went to a gas station down the street. You put a full tank of gas in your tank. You put $20 in the tank or whatever. You went to the Chinese restaurant and you they'll itemize what you get. You know, egg foo young, this, that, chicken fried rice, whatever. They'll even tell you when. They'll even say the time that you went to the Chinese restaurant, how long you was in the Chinese restaurant. The Chinese chick behind the counter, she got a chip in her. So like I said, I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna continue to say this. You guys are teaching otherwise. You sold the fuck out. There's no way in the world you can. Well, I see GMS is going off. I don't see how they can see that because I don't see it, and the spirit's working with me. And another thing, I don't see. Forgive me for running off in the mouth, but this is serious. It shows you that see, they get mad. IUIC gets mad when we call them zombies, but that's exactly what you are. You're a bunch of zombies, man. You should change the name to IUIC to IUIV. Israel United in Z. Israel United in Zombieism. Because all of you are a bunch of zombies. Exclusionary, and it's a surveillance tool. It's a surveillance tool. It's a surveillance tool. It's a surveillance tool. So if Nigeria's tactic of, drastically reducing the amount of cash in circulation, like I said, some years ago, about 4 years ago, I would say, 4 or 5 years ago, whatever, they said, look, you got to deal with the electronic dollar. But we'll give you paper money, but you can only get $45 a day, every day. If you're in an emergency, well, we can't help you. That means they got control. Y'all better wake the fuck up. No drastically reducing the amount of cash in circulation didn't work. Then I think it's quite clear that the way to force onboarding of a CBDC is going to be some sort of crisis. Some sort of crisis. We say no CBDC. Some sort of event where people will be made an offer they can't refuse. Right, you can't buy or sell unless you get the chip. Essentially, whatever that crisis is, that creates. Now they're saying no, we ain't gonna accept it. Eventually, they're gonna accept it. And then you got Native Africa not telling the people, so they're not. When the chip comes, they're not gonna know they're gonna take it because they don't know any better. Because the great Nate, didn't tell them. People will have little choice but to onboard to this new digital currency because they're gonna squeeze them, right? You see, they keep talking about no to a digital ID, right? It says reject. What the hell is that? Okay, brick card, right? That was the smart Starmer, remember? Digital ID, surveillance state, your freedom and privacy. No to digital ID. Guess what? You're gonna accept the digital ID, or you're gonna be out there, and then eventually you're gonna march against the microchip. As I said before, the Bible Belt, so-called Edomites, they're gonna say the microchip is a mark of the beast. They're gonna say it. Jake ain't gonna say it because Jake is stupid. Jake has got their head stuck up in their asses. It says to this new digital currency system, it could manifest in a number of ways, but regardless of how it manifests, what the narrative is, what the narrative is going to be is that privacy is dangerous. Anonymity is dangerous. Specifically, financial privacy is dangerous. Those are going to be the narratives that come out of this event, and that's going to be a way to force onboarding both onto digital currency that can be tracked to stop terror. See, it's a terrorist thing, see? Terror, financial, or money laundering, or things of that nature. And also we have to know who everybody online is, because it's dangerous, man. You know, you say something to a little kid and the kid commits suicide because of what you tell him, so we got to have your home address. Have to know who everyone is interacting with these systems. We need digital ID. It's very much tied up with efforts to regulate the internet. The effort regulate the internet specifically in the United States, and it's going to be on the whole planet, has been going on for years. Under Obama administration, they call it the driver's license for the internet. The idea is to have a government issued ID be necessary for you to access the internet. So have fun while it's here, bro. And in doing so, they know not just what you're posting and say online, they know what information you're reading online. As well as, but the difference is once it's directly connected to the government issued ID, they could persecute you for things like publishing misinformation. What they call is misinformation. Remember we did the videos on the ragamuffin, they'll cut the video. But now they're saying, oh, we was wrong, that the shot hurt people. The shot made people sick. Like publishing misinformation or what they deem as misinformation. And there's actually been pushes from people like former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, which is a German, to punish people who publish alleged disinformation, and that the need that it's necessary to have IDs connected to social media accounts and to people internet access as a means of facilitating those kinds of assets or law enforcement activity. There's a couple of reasons why I think they want to have a private bank have like a major role in this digital currency. Ultimately, it will lead to you being chipped with a physical microchip system to come. If there's a private sector entity banking you and managing your money, it's much easier for them to bank you than to federal government. CBDCs harder than them to freeze someone's bank account, debunk them in any sort of significant way, as opposed to a private company where you have, for example, precedent where J.P. Morgan Chase, for example, debunked Dr. whatever and some of his executives and didn't give any reason as to why. They just said long provided you with financial services, no questions asked. That would be very hard to the case of the CBC. Keep coming up with CBCD. CBCD is not even accepted yet. It's not worldwide yet, but it is going to be worldwide. Not only the U.S. dollar is going to be obsolete or outmoded, the whole planet was going to do away with the paper dollar and credit cards, and it's going to be one. It's going to be one system for each nation. Then it's going to be one system for the whole planet, and it's going to come out of London, England. The central bank of the planet it should be come out. My take, it should come out of London, England, which is one of 3 city-states. That's the financial part of the 3 city-states. The 3 unclean spirits like frogs. Anyway, you know what? I'm going to cut it. I went long. Please forgive me. Shalom. On to the next.